It all began with Antonio Gramsci, a prisoner of Mussolini, who realized that wielding rifles was useless while the West remained anchored in family, faith, and country. From his cell, he conceived the idea of cultural hegemony, slowly infiltrating schools, churches, courts, and newspapers until common sense would adopt new egalitarian dogmas. Directly inspired by Gramsci, in the frenetic 1920s, the newly created Frankfurt Institute for Social Research, led by Max Horkheimer, Theodor Adorno, and Herbert Marcuse, took a revolutionary step by merging Marx with Freud. If the economic revolution had failed, the new bet would be a psychological revolution. Family, religion, and merit came to be seen as mechanisms of deep repression. Cultural Marxism began to be seen by its critics as a degenerate force, undermining traditional values and societal structures. This marked the beginning of a contentious ideological battle that continues to this day. In 1933, with Hitler's rise, the institute was labeled degenerate cultural Marxism and shut down. Its members fled to the United States, establishing themselves in 1934 at Columbia University with grants from the Rockefeller Foundation, and quickly spread their ideas through Harvard, Yale, Princeton, and Berkeley, known as the Ivy League. The Institute's ideas found fertile ground in these prestigious universities, becoming centers for the propagation of critical theory and influencing generations of scholars and activists. These universities became centers for the propagation of Frankfurtian doctrine. Soon, the East Coast press, influenced by figures like Walter Lippmann, Dwight MacDonald, and Irving Howe, began echoing their theses, transforming academic terms into everyday language. Influential magazines played a crucial role in disseminating these ideas to a broader audience. Magazines such as The New Republic, The Nation, and the New York Review of Books promoted the idea that faith was superstition, merit was privilege, and borders were oppression. Over the next 3 decades, Frankfurtian thought was incorporated into university curricula. Family equals oppressive patriarchy, religion equals collective neurosis, merit equals structural violence, sex is not nature but a social construct, and conservative speech is hate speech. In the 1960s, Herbert Marcuse introduced the concept of repressive tolerance, tolerating exclusively left-wing voices and suppressing right-wing opinions. Ivy League campuses became laboratories for sexual revolution, identity multiculturalism, and militant anti-Americanism. The influence of the Ivy Leagues expanded into strategic courts. Sonia Sotomayor, Ketanji Brown Jackson, Elena Kagan, and others shaped the Supreme Court through identity-first doctrines.
Check one, check.
Merrick Garland at the DOJ applied Marcusean principles against conservative extremism. Federal student loan guarantees allowed Ivy Leagues to quadruple tuition fees and grow billion-dollar endowments. Ironically, anti-capitalist departments flourished, funded by capitalism. Even after the Supreme Court banned racial discrimination in admissions, universities adopted alternative segregation systems under the banner of equity. From this academic environment rose the political elite: Clinton, Obama, Biden, leaders molded by the Ivy Revolution. Federal Reserve figures like Bernanke and Yellen expanded student debt culture. Big tech, shaped by Ivy League minds, redefined free speech as disinformation. Hollywood too was captured. Movies replaced heroism with collective identity narratives. TV shows obsessed over colonialism, fluid gender, and racial privilege. Awards prioritized identity politics over merit. A daily cultural bombardment trained generations to accept academic indoctrination without resistance. Art, academia, media, and the judiciary consolidated a single unified narrative. Tradition, merit, and faith are now seen as morally offensive. Gramsci's vision, conceived in a prison cell, triumphed without a single shot.